Hello, GDT member. My name is Nikhil. I'm working with Deloitte, and today I'm going to present my capstone project to you. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. So DocuSign CLM overview. DocuSign has got 4 pillars. If you can say there are, and those 4 pillars are prepare, sign, act, and manage. What does that mean? What does that each pillar means? When we say prepare, the prepare allows or facilitates user to optimize and to digitize and speed up the process of creation of the contract, drafting the contract, sending it for review, sending it for internal approval. So that all can be speed up using the functionality of the DocuSign. Moving on to the next one, which is sign. So DocuSign is tightly coupled with the DocuSign e-signature, and that allows user to send the agreements or the contracts electronically to get them electronically signed. And the signed copy also gets back to the DocuSign CLM Act. So now, once the contract uh, is drafted and is signed and executed, the next step is to act on the agreement, the terms which we agreed on, or the terms which were signed by both the parties, such as obligation, commitments, or sending data to the downstream integrations for further actions such as billing, payments, so on and so forth. So that can also be done through the DocuSign. And the last but not the least, when we have a lot of data into the system, the next step is to manage the data or to report to pull the report based on that data, so that to provide more insight to the users or the business, as in how the contracting as a tool is working, or what are the benefits which are being delivered by the DocuSign. So for that, manage, I would say, the reports that would be the one of the most important part of any software. And DocuSign does provide out-of-the-box reports, as well as custom reports can also be created with the help of the features which are available into the system. So let me introduce my project. So I have been assigned to a project, and this is a use case. So in this case, the salesperson is going to create the vendor agreement, and this salesperson is someone who doesn't have access to the DocuSign directly, but he's more used to of using the Salesforce instance for the sales processes. So DocuSign so we are going to have an integration between the DocuSign and Salesforce, so that the salesperson need not to leave the DocuSign at the Salesforce page, or maybe the opportunity or account page, but they can directly create an agreement from the Salesforce. So once the agreement is created from the Salesforce, then there are 2 ways to create an agreement or the contract: own paper and the third-party paper. When I say own paper is the one if it's the internal language or pre-negotiated language, I would say. So that is the own paper, and the third-party paper is the contract paper which is coming from the customer itself, and customer wants to go ahead with the contract on their paper. So these would be the 2 scenarios. If it's a own paper, legal will be the first level of approval. In case of third paper, department manager. So we are going to have department into the contract, and the department manager is going to be the first approver in that case. And once the department manager approves it, it will go back to the legal again. So legal will act as a hub, and legal will once the legal approves it, it will go to the legal can also send it for internal review, can do the redlining, and then send it for internal reviews and for external reviews, and can also send for signature if there are no reviews required, or even after reviews they can send it for signature. Legal can reject if at all, if it is required. In case of rejection, that will cancel the workflow. So that's exception scenario. Send for signature. Once the agreement is signed, the signed date and the effective date and some other data, like such as stage, will get updated into the Salesforce. Then the external approval and the internal approval. So once this is done, it will again go back to the legal, so that it will be routed to the signature. So that's the whole scenario at the outset. But yes, we'll deep dive into the nitty-gritty of each and every step. As a part of this presentation or this demo, there are different actors who are involved, such as requester. Requester is the one is a sales representative who is going to initiate the agreement creation process. The reviewer, who is the legal, and the way I was just explaining, will act as a hub, a legal hub, and the internal signatory, external signatory, and the sales representative. Sales representative manager in case of third party paper. But there is a caveat. So as this is going to be a demo, and so all the roles will be played by my IT. But in the real time scenario, these are the four or five different users who will be playing this role. But for today's demonstration, I'll be playing all the roles on behalf of each persona. Okay. So as a part of this demo, I'm going to cover the 13 requirements. So I'll come back to this later. So let's jump on to this to the configuration and the demo. Yeah. So this is a Salesforce instance which is integrated with the DocuSign instance. Now, if you can see here on the left upper corner, there is an app called as DocuSign App Launcher. So there is a process, or so how this integration happens. So there is something called as DocuSign package. So DocuSign package is nothing but the we'll have to deploy the DocuSign package on the Salesforce, and that in turn helps us to connect the DocuSign with the Salesforce. So once the DocuSign package is installed, so the next step is to have these to go ahead and create another. These are the next step of configuration. So if you see here, as soon as the package is deployed, there are two objects get added into the app launcher. If you can see here, the mapped object. So these are the two objects here. Let me just click on this. Yeah. So two objects are account and opportunity. So that means there are account and opportunity is when we create any transaction into the Salesforce, account is a prerequisite. So account acts as a parent for opportunity, lead, task, or maybe the quotations. So account is a parent. So these are the two objects which gets added by default. However, it is possible to add additional objects as well. Let's say if customer wants to have a quotation, even that is also possible. So let me just show you the mapping. Yeah. So if I go inside the account, you'll find the name of the object folder. So the object folder is the account name here. It is possible to select any field, any account field, which will be named as the filter, which will be named as the folder, which will in turn save the documents created for that particular account. But I'll go ahead with the standard or out of the box setting, which is account name. If I go on to the next one, choose location. So when we have this integration, when we deploy the DocuSign on the Salesforce, it automatically creates a folder hierarchy. So if you can see here, other sources, inside other sources, there is a Salesforce folder. Under Salesforce folder, there is an account and then the account name. So this is a typical hierarchy. It is possible to change the hierarchy, but I'm going to leave it as is for this demo. But yes, it is very much possible to add folder, add subfolders, or rename the folders. I'll just cancel this one, and I'll just show you how the opportunity folder looks like. So as I just said, the opportunity is the child of an account. So the opportunities would lie be inside the account folders. So yeah, again here, so we are going to use opportunity name as the name of the folder, and followed by so as I said, it is also possible to have a different field as a folder name, but I'll go ahead with the opportunity name because that's something which is unique. And the choose location, now here the hierarchy is little different. We have the opportunity inside an account, and inside opportunity then there is an opportunity name. So this is the typical folder structure which is available out of the box. So I'm gonna leave it like that, and yeah. So so once we have these two objects available into the system, the next step is to like add the visual pages or the objects into this Salesforce object, wherein we can access the Salesforce contract or the contact creation or the contact view contact or the task. So for the there is a configuration which is the Salesforce or the page layout configuration. So there are two ways to reach up to this page. One is through directly from the DocuSign setup, or we can also go to the gear icon and go to the setup, and then there is an object manager. So if you see, both the screens are same. Okay, so inside object manager we'll have to search for an opportunity. So in this demo I'm going to demonstrate how to create a contract from the opportunity. So this is an opportunity, and inside this opportunity we'll have to add the pages. So this is the lightning record page. So I had this page. So if you go inside, yeah. So this is a place where I have added the uh, the task object as well as the folder structure for the DocuSign, and that's how we are going to access it from the Salesforce. In addition to that, it is also possible to add the buttons, so such as create contact. So create contact button has also been added here. So let me just quickly show that too. Okay. So again, inside an opportunity, under buttons and links, we can have the buttons added. So there is a button called create contact that was added by me, and if you see here, I have also given the link, a URL to a configuration here. So configuration is nothing but the place where we assign workflow and other settings to us to a document generation form. So together and forms a configuration. So this is the configuration link, and when we click on the create contact button, this is the URL which gets triggered and takes a user from Salesforce opportunity to the DocuSign contact creation page. So once we have done this configuration, the next step is to let's go into the DocuSign. So this is a prerequisite, and in DocuSign, so this is an app switcher, and there are three apps which are available here: e-signature, CLM, and admin. So let me just explain admin first. So admin is the place where we can create users and user groups. So if I want to provision a new user into the DocuSign instance, so this is the place where I can do it. It's also possible to create users in bulk. So there is a format, and we can create users in bulk too. It's taking a little more time than usual. So here we can create users and user groups. So for creation of the user, the email ID is something which needs to be a unique ID. And once the user is created, we can we can assign that user to the different user groups, and these user groups then we can use for the purpose of giving the access to the folders. So this is one of the user which I had created for the demo purpose. Now if you see, the status is active. So once the user is provisioned, the status shows as pending after activation of, and user gets a link to activate the account. Once the user activates the account, the status changes from pending to active. Okay. Then the next app here is CLM. Okay, before CLM, I'll spend some time on e-signature. So when a user gets added, a CLM user gets added into the system, the user automatically gets an access to the e-signature tool, e-signature app as well. And in e-signature app, we can also create our tags which are required for the signature. So let me just quickly show you here. Yeah, under settings. So we can modify, there are different settings which are available in DocuSign. For example, if I want to send the certification of the signature, it's kind of a history which captures the history of the signature. Even that can also be enabled from here. We can switch it on, switch it off from here. Yeah. So if I go to document custom field, so these are the fields which I have not filled. These are the tags which I have created, which is signature name, title, signature, and the signature date. And now I'm going to use these tags. I already used these tags into the template, my own template. So this is the place where we create the tags. So once this is completed, let's come to the CLM. So this is the place where the contract creation and the other settings are they takes place. Okay, when user logs into the DocuSign, this is the dashboard. The system automatically takes users to the dashboard page. It's possible to change the landing page. I kept it as a dashboard page because that gives me an overview, a bird eye view of the system or the CLM system. So this is my dashboard. So these are the 3 reports which I have configured. I'll explain these 3 reports to you later on. Okay, so now we are ready. We are ready to create a contract. I'll go to the opportunity. Let me just close this one. I'll say cancel. I don't want to change anything into the existing settings. And I'll go to the app launcher. So now if I go back to my scenario here, now the sales representative is going to create a contract with the own paper, and then it will first go to legal for legal's approval. Meanwhile, it will also change the stage of the Salesforce opportunity. Now here I can see all the opportunities here. I can search for opportunities, but these are the opportunities which are already available with me. I just recently visited them, so that's the reason they are available in the drop down. Now, if you can see here, the stage of my opportunity is value proposition. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a contract for this particular opportunity, and you can see here the contract signed date and the contract effective date. Both of them are blank, and this is going to populate from DocuSign. So this is the button create contract, which I just explained. Okay, now I get 2 options here: generate standard sales contract and the upload third party contract. So if I'm going to create, if I want to create a contract with my own paper, which is general sales contract, then I can go ahead with that. But if customer insists to create a contract on their paper, then it's always recommend to use the upload third party contract, and that gives you an option to upload the third party paper or the customer contract. So first I'll show how to create the contract with the own paper. So select this one, and on selection of the template, it will automatically triggers the document generation form, which has been configured for the own template. So there are two forms configured for into the system. One is for third own paper. So this is the own paper, and I'll tell you what's the difference between these two forms too. So in the interest of time, what I did is company details. So this is my company XYZ Corp. And this is the address of the company. The effective date, it's getting defaulted as the current date. That can be handled through configuration. Department, I let me select IT. So department is something which is going to drive my approval and the signatories as per the logic. But for the demo purpose, I'm going to play both the rules, approver as well as the internal signatories. But in real time world, yes, we can configure the system, and we can have a metrics available which will drive. I mean, the department will drive who's going to sign or who's going to approve it from that department. So if you can see here, the customer name, so Dickinson PLC, and the address, it's getting fetched from the Salesforce. So I haven't entered this data. This is coming from the Salesforce. So it's because there is an integration between the Salesforce and the DocuSign. DocuSign and the contract creation form. The internal signatory here, I have defaulted it to my ID, and external signatories name. So external signatory name is nothing but the customer contact person. So in this case, there are two contact person. I'm going to select my name for ease of executing this contract. So once I fill this information, the next step is to see if the tags, if the metadata entered here is getting merged into the template. Yes. So now if you can see here, the sales agreement is between the Dickinson PLC and XYZ Corp. And these are the light blue highlighted text is nothing but the data which those are nothing but the merge tags. So the data is getting populated in each and every tag. So that means tagging is working correctly. And on the right hand side here, on the second column, on the right hand side column, we have signature boxes as well. So there are tags inside these signature boxes. Okay. So before move on to the next page, I just want to spend 1 minute here. So as I said, there are two different forms I have created, one for own paper and the other one for third party paper. So there is one field which I have added standard template, and for this particular form, the standard template is marked as yes. So that's a checkbox. And for third party paper, it is no. So that's false. That's the fundamental difference between these two forms. And I'm going to use this logic into the workflow. So I'll show you in the workflow as well. So now my template looks correct. The tags, the data is getting populated. Data is populating correctly. So I'm good to go ahead and save this particular contract. So as soon as I save the contract, system will take me back to the appointee page, and on the refresh, I can see the contract here, which has been created by me just now. And if you can see the description or the status of this particular the contract is pending for legal approval. So as I was explaining, this is on paper. It will first go to legal for the interim approval, or to check if the data is correct, if there are any modifications required before legal initiates the next step. 4 5 steps or 4 5 different actions which that can be undertaken by legal. Excuse me. Yes. So now let me go to the DocuSign here. So if you can see here, pending for legal approval. So now there is only one contract which is pending for legal approval. If I refresh this report, I should get 2 here. Yeah, see now the number has gone up by 1. So that means as a user, I know there are two agreements which are pending. There are two contracts which are pending for legal's approval. So this is how the reports also gets updated, and this is a real time, and this gives a lot of insight. Insight about the contract processing based on the status. So we'll talk about this in much in detail, but I just wanted to highlight that it's possible to update the report real time. Okay, so I'll go to the documents now. Yeah. So in documents, this is the Salesforce. As this is Salesforce, so we have this hierarchy, which is other sources, then the Salesforce account. So inside account, there are three accounts, right? And I created one contract that's for Dickinson. So I'll just expand the Dickinson folder, and then inside opportunity, I have all the opportunities here. See, this is the one which I have just created. Okay, so now I can also go to the task. So let me just show you task two. How would I get to know that yes, something has been assigned to me, or there is something pending for my action? So the best way is to go to task and then search out if there is anything which is pending. So if you can see here, this is pending for legal to approve. So this is the latest task which is there, and this is for the customer Dickinson PLC. So what I can do, I can directly go to this task and undertake the action, or I can go and claim the task, because this task has been assigned to the task group. So anyone from the task group can come and claim the task, or can reassign the task. So I'll just claim the task. So as soon as I claim the task, the column got updated here with my email ID. So initially it was blank, which was unassigned, but now it has been assigned to me. Yeah. So now there are two actions which are available here for me, and those two actions are either approve or reject. Okay. So before I approve or reject, let me just open the workflow activity 2, so that I can just walk you through the workflow progress. So till now, uh, so this is how the attributes have been identified, and they're applied to the contract. And now this is a decision box, so where we know this is the standard template, and that's the reason we are here now. This is the step which allows us to update which has updated this the status, and now we are on this particular stage, which is approve or reject. Okay, fine. So before we approve and reject, let me just show you the attributes tab as well. So so if you can see here, so there are 4 attribute groups. So if I expand the signature, so the signature is the signatory details which I had entered on the document generation form, all those got assigned, or all those got applied to this particular contract. So it is possible for me now to to report the contract based upon these attribute values. And if you can see signed it, that's empty, and that will get filled up automatically when we sign the agreement, when we execute the agreement. Company details, that also got copied here, and the customer details as well. And there is an auto number assigned to this particular contract. So this is the unique alphanumeric number, and the CLM document details. So if you can see here, name generate, this is the name, this is a standard out of the box format, the template name underscore the today's date, and then the timestamp, and the description is pending for legal approval. This is really important for each and every stage, because this is something which helps us to report based on the stage description. That's what the other report was doing. Okay, so now it is possible to change this data if required. So I'll leave it as is because my data is correct. I'll say discard, and I'll go to task. So my task is approve. Data looks correct. Approved. So if I reject, it will go to the another loop wherein I can reassign this particular contract to someone who can edit this contract and submit it back to legal. So that's a different route. Uh, but I'll first show the approval one. So I'm approving this and then the next. So in the next step, I'll send it for the external review because I want to start the negotiation with my customer. And so that's the best way to send it to the customer before I send it for internal review and then send it for signature. So the next step which I'm going to undertake is the sending this contract for review, for external review. So as we are going ahead with these steps and the process, the workflow is also workflow is also progressing, and the steps which are getting completed, those are marked as green. So if you can see here, right from start till the decision making. So we are in the own paper flow now. I had just approved, or legal has just approved the contract. So ideally it should go to this particular step. Yeah. So now I'm back to my task page here again, or the task. Yeah. And these are all my tasks. And if you can see here, legal to choose the next step. So as I said, it is, the next step is to choose the next step. So there are different steps or different options which are available for legal. And those options are either edit contract. So they can the legal can edit the contract before they send it out for the internal review or external review or signature. Then the send for internal review, send for external review, send for signature, and the reject the contract. If if legal rejects the contract, that's end of the workflow. So that's an exception scenario, and I'll demonstrate that too. So I'll say send for external review, and I'll say I'll put a comment here for a reviewer. Please review and revert. So now in this case, it's me only, the reviewer. So I'll get an email informing me that this particular contract is pending for your review. And if you can see my workflow here, so workflow is also progressing. Legal has just approved it, and upon approval, it has gone to the choice field or the choice step wherein we have different choices. So I have selected sending it for approval. So now it's going to this particular loop. So now the external signatory, the external reviewer will get an email, and then external reviewer can update document, which can complete this particular process with document or without document. So with document means if there are any changes into the document, or if there are any red line added by the external reviewer, so that would be considered as a completed with document. If there are no red lines, if external reviewer or the customer contact person is fine with the draft of the contract, then it would be completed with the without document. So now this has been completed. Okay. I should have received an email. Yeah. So now if you can see here, I received an email, and this is the email form and which has been configured. Please review the document and revert with comments or an updated version. Okay, so this is something which is been triggered by the email form or the e form, and this is the link to the document. So I'll go to the review. So now I am playing a role of external reviewer, and these are the instructions for the external reviewer, as in what to do if they want to redline, download it, and then upload it back into the system with comments. So I'll say got it. Now I want to add some red lines here, and after reading this document, so what I'll do is I'll have to first download it. And then I'll just open this one from the downloaded folder. So after carefully going through this particular document or this contract, I found that I'm not fine with the number of days for the renewal notice period. So instead of 90, I'm comfortable with 60. So I'll just change from 90 to 60. So that's a small change I'm making here. Rest of the language looks good for me. I have deliberately kept these tags in blue so that so that they can be identified easily. In real world, it won't be like that. The entire text would be in the same format and the color too. So I'll just save this one and I'll go back to the that email. Yeah. Now here I'll have to upload the file. Yes. So this is the file which got uploaded. Comment, change, change the notice period date. Okay, and I'll say finish. So as soon as external reviewer finishes the review process, the next step is it will go back to the legal. It will go back to the legal team again, and then legal will review that particular contract. If it is as per uh, the the firm's guideline, else they will change it or they will reject it. Yeah. So if you can see here again, it is back to legal. So legal has to choose the step. So I'll open the task. I'll quickly go to the workflow too. Let me just refresh it. Yes. Now, as a legal, what I can do, I can also compare the versions because I don't know what are the changes are made by the external reviewer. So I can choose the version which was sent to the legal, sent to the external reviewer, and this is the one which I received from the reviewer. So I'll click on compare, and it will show me all the red lines. So in this case, I only changed from 90 days to 60 days. Let's see how it looks like into the system. Meanwhile, if you look at the workflow, so it it went to the external reviewer. It is completed with document, and it updated the status, and at the same time, it created the Salesforce object too for the salesperson. So I'll show you that too, and I apologize that I missed one step here. So as soon as the contract is created, system or the DocuSign automatically changes the stage of the opportunity, which is here. So let me just show you that too. Yeah. So just refresh. So value proposition is the stage. Initially, it was the stage initially, but if you see now, it's negotiation review. So that means the negotiation review is in progress. And if you can see here, the task has been also added here. You have upcoming task that completed with document. So when a document was sent out, there was a task created, and it is also showing that this task has been completed. So this is to inform the salesperson that what is the status, or what is happening on the particular contract. So that means the integration is working, it's up and running, and it's also updating the data into the system. Yeah. So now I'm again back to the choice here. And as a process, what we'll do is next I'll send it for internal review. So the internal review is nothing but the department, the department person, or the department which I had selected while creating the contract. But in this case, I'll play the role of the department approval as well. Please validate and share your comments. Okay. So now I'm sending it for the department approval. Yeah. So when I do that, so I have added one step here wherein it is possible for us to choose the user. So there are two ways we can do it. We can directly assign it to a task group, or we can also have an ad hoc user. So this is an ad hoc user, and or this is a place we'll have to choose the user from the system. So I'll select my ID here. So I'm going to play that role, and I say complete. So this is one more way of like sending or adding the approvers or the approver groups into the system. So now if you see here my task group, my task list, the internal review and approval rejection. So this is the step. So this is a step wherein that's a current status of my contract. Okay, and being the internal reviewer, I'm now going to approve or reject this particular contract. I'll just go to dashboard to show you how this is having an impact on our contract, on our report. Sorry. So see, now we had pending for legal approval, there were two. Now this count should go back to one, and it should update the other. Uh, yeah, so if you see here, this has gone down by one, and we got one more. We got one more here, which is pending for internal review. So that's the one. This is the one. It was not there earlier. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to approve it. Yes. So I can also see the red line version here. And if you can see here, the 60, the 90 days has been converted into 60 days, but I'm fine with that. And so that's the reason I'm going to approve it. I said, looks good. Approved. Okay. As soon as I approve this one, it will go back to legal again to initiate the next step or the next workflow. Now this graph should change a little bit. Yeah. So now if you can see here, it was pending for internal review. So this is the step which should turn green now. The system is a little slow. Please bear with me. So it is back to legal again, which is legal to choose the next step. So what legal gonna do is now legal gonna trigger the signature workflow. Okay, so I'll send it for signature. Now I'm the legal. I'll say okay, it's good, and I'm sending it for signature. Good to send for signature. Okay, but now here legal is acting as a gatekeeper. Legal is someone who is sending it for internal review, external review, then the negotiating with the customers. And once the document is in a place, now legal is saying yes, it is ready for signature, but the but the document is not going out for signature. So that responsibility lies with the contract owner or the contract initiator. So that's the next step. So there is a go ahead from legal, and now this contract will get assigned to a submitted by or created by person. So if I go to the task, yeah. So the step here is review and then send for signature. So this is the step here, and who is going to do this step is again me, because I had rejected. Not rejected. I had initiated this contract, and that's the reason I'm the owner of this contract, and that's the reason it has been assigned to me. Okay, so what I can do here, I can request, sorry, I can reject. When I reject it, it's an exception scenario. It will go back to the legal again. But if I say send for signature because it looks good and legal has already done a lot of work on this, so my responsibility is to send it for signature. So I am initiating the signature. So this is with me now. So that's an additional step in between. So we are taking out the responsibility from legal and we are passing it on to the contact initiator. Contact initiator is the one who is in touch with the customer, who is interacting with customer, who knows the customer well. So it's because of that sales person is sending this particular contract to the customer and not the legal. Yeah. Let me see if I got if I received an email. Yeah. So this was the email which I received for the external review. This was the one which after the review was completed, I should get an email now for signature. Yeah. So if you can see the status here is pending for signature, and this will also update the report here. So there is no pending for signature. Ideally should add one more legend which is pending for signature. And it's yeah pending for signature 8.3. So this is the one pending for signature. It was null before. I haven't received an email yet. So till that time, let me just show you the workflow, the progress of the workflow. The comments which I had entered, all those comments are also available here on the left hand side. So yeah, so we were at the review and the send for signature step that has been completed. Now ideally we are here. I mean we should be here. It's the system is taking a little bit of time. I apologize for this delay. Yeah, the status is showing as pending for signature, but it is not yet in my inbox. Okay, so let me use this time to explain the reports, because that's something that's something which is available. So there are three reports which I have configured for this particular project. So one is the capstone status report. So that's the one which I have already explained, and uh, I have pinned it on my dashboard. It is possible to change the look and feel of the report. If I want to edit the widget, I can say, let's say I want to see a bar chart, and I can have vertical or the horizontal bar chart. I say, let's say vertical. So as soon as I say vertical, I'll start get I can change the orientation of the report. I personally like the donut chart, and that's the reason I kept it as is. But it's a little colorful too, and looks good. I'll move on to the yeah. So this report, when this report is really helpful, because this this explains you the health of the entire CLM product, or the CLM as a tool. Because if you can see here, if 66% of my contracts are signed, that means it's most of the contracts are already signed. But then there are some contracts which are rejected by sales manager, or there are some contracts that are still pending for legal approval or pending for signature. So then this is the data which I can use to follow up with those people, that why the process is getting delayed, and thereby reducing the turnaround time. So this is really helpful report. This gives a lot of insights to the user, just looking at the chart. So highly recommend to use this particular report into the actual implementations too. The next report is the attribute report. This is pretty simple report, wherein we what this report shows is the document, and the name of the document, and in description, that's nothing but this stage of the contract. And this stage of the contract is nothing but this is coming from the workflow. So it is recommended to always add a stage description into the workflow. So that is one of the best practice, I would say. If we do not, if we skip entering this stage into the workflow, it would be really difficult to pull the report uh, from that particular stage, which I was just showing the stage report or the status report. And in this particular report, the description will come blank. Then the created date, the customer name, department name, company name. So it is possible to add any number of attributes here which are available. So we can say, let's say click on edit, and then I can I can add any number of columns here. And these are the out of the box attribute or the system attributes, I would say. And then the add columns will give me the attribute groups which were configured and then applied to the contract. So I have selected like customer name and the department name from the customer details attribute group, and then the the company, from company details, I have selected the company name. So this is how we can add or remove the columns, and this is the section where we can add more and more filters. It is also possible to add dimensions, but I'll show it to you that into the other report. So the not the other report, but the capstone the status report, that is a report where I have already used the dimensions. So in dimensions, I have used the status or the description. The third report here is the workflow average average review time report. So now this report gives us the the data about uh, the average time taken by a particular document to complete that workflow. So if you can see here, the Salesforce contract management workflow. So that's my name of the workflow. What is the start date? What is the last updated date? And if you can see the status of this workflow is executing and the wait for signature. So that's the current status and wait for signature because I haven't received the signature email yet. Then who had initiated this workflow? That's my name. And then the currently assigned to, so it is not assigned to anyone yet because it is executing. Then the department is legal and the total duration is showing it as 1 hour 44 minutes. So that's a total duration for this particular contract to run. And then the time in the current stage. So let's say I take an example of waiting for legal to approve. So this is the perfect example. So legal is taking a lot of time here. See, legal is taking like legal has not approved his contract since approximately 2 hours. So this is the report which gives you an insight about the data wherein if the particular document is stuck, so you will get to know where is it stuck, what is the status, and who is working on that particular task, and since how long that particular task is pending. So that this information can help you to take the informed decision, follow up with the users, and the get that contract moving ahead. So again, a very useful report. And if you can see here, some of the reports, some of the contracts are completed in 5 minutes, which is not ideal in real world, because it takes at least 2 to 3 days or even more than that for negotiation and getting contract signed. But yeah, this is a demo system, so we can expect this kind of numbers here. I'll just go back. I'll check why if the status has moved to the next stage. Yeah, so there is no error here, but it's not moving ahead. Let me just check my junk folder once. Oh, there is no email as such. Oh, my bad. So I should have clicked on send for signature. My sincere apology. I missed that step. But the good part is that we have already used the use the time for the reporting purpose to explain the reports. So this is the DocuSign console wherein I can see who are going to sign this particular contract. I can change the sequence, who is going to sign first, so that way, or I can even add more recipients here which were not part of the contract creation form. And then click on next. So I'll not change anything here because my tags are already in place. However, in case of third party template, it is possible to drag and drop the signature tag and then send it for the signature, because typically in case of third party templates, the tags are not there. But when we configure the own paper or the own templates, we always make sure that tags are there. So these tags are here now, and it's good to send for signature. I just close these reports. Yeah. So now I received one email here asking me to sign the contract, and there is a message here also. Please review and sign the contract for the customer. So that's a customer name. So this can be configured into the workflow. And if you can see here, this will also change because it's pending for signature. This report should also change. So I'll say review document. Okay. Click on continue. So as a signatory, as I said, the tags are already there, and that's the reason it's taking me directly to the tag. I'll have to just click on the tag, and the signature will get into the place. Name, it's getting pulled from my account, and the title, I can enter my title here. Let's say manager contracts. Okay. It is also possible to reject the particular signature or signature process. So if I reject the process, or if I reject the signature, it will go back to the legal again for their review. So that's again an exception scenario which I have configured into the system, but I am going to show you the different scenario for the rejection or for the exception scenario. But yes, this exception scenario has already been covered into the workflow. But I'll not go there. I'll sign it. I'll say finish and say no thanks here. And if you can see the workflow, yeah. So workflow is updating now, and the scenario which I was just talking about, the exception scenario, wherein if you decline to sign, so this is a scenario wherein failure, rejection, or cancel, it will go back to the choice, which is nothing but the legal, and then legal can again send it for either internal review or external review, or they can edit it and then send it for signature again. So we are here now, and I should have received, yeah, I got another email. So first external signatory signed it. Now it's the turn, it's internal signatory to sign. I'll say continue. So that's XYZ Corp, that's the company, that's my name, that's manager contracts, because my ID is there into the system, and that's showing up like that. And if you can see the date, the signature date is also getting stamped here, which is the current date, which is 16th of March. So now, as per the process, both the signatory have signed the respective contracts, and now I'm going to finish this particular uh, process or the signature. So the status of my contract should change to sign now. So this is pending for signature. Just if you see the status here, it's pending for signature. It should change to signed. And when signature, yes, now this has been completed. So if you see, this is the contract which we are working on. So this is signed, this is completed. And if I go back to the DocuSign, it should also update the DocuSign with the stage. Yeah, it just updated the stage, which is closed and on. It was negotiation and review. Now it has been changed to close because the contract has been signed and deal has been closed. If you can see here, the contract sign date, that's today's date, and the contract effective date, again, that's today's date. But in real world scenario, these would be the two different dates, because creation date would, because signature date or signature date would be somewhere in the future and not at the same day, ideally. So that means this completes the end-to-end workflow for the own paper. Let me just show you the workflow too. So it should be all green. till finish line. Yeah. So if you can see here, it's all green now. So waiting for signature and then updated the Salesforce too. So this is the workflow, or this is the one scenario. Uh, Let me quickly show you the third party scenario. So in this third party scenario, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to create one contract with the third party paper. So this will be the route, and then I'll reject that particular contract, and let's see what are the repercussions of rejecting the contract by the sales manager. So that way we can also cover the exception scenario, and in this scenario, it's just not the process, but it also creates one contract, create a folder which is rejected folder, and the rejected contracts goes into the rejected folder. So I'll show you that too. Now let me go to the Dickinson again, create a contract, upload third party paper. Okay, so data will remain as is here. I'll just change the department name here, and then the signatories would remain as is. Select the third party agreement template which I received from my customer, and then click on save. So now the only difference here is we won't get the tags here, because the tags are available into the own templates only and not into the third party template. So when we create any third party contract, we'll have to, as standard practice, we'll have to download that particular contract and then make changes into the contract language, such as we'll have to add the contract, maybe the customer name, customer address, company name, company address, signature tags, so on and so forth. So that changes are required. So let me just show you this template. So this is a simple template, and wherever the text is in red, that's the tag actually, and that's the data which we need to change, such as payment processing, pricing, start date, agreement length. So that we'll have to change here and upload it back into the system. And as far as the signature is concerned, as I said, we can at the time of sending the agreement for signature, there is a DocuSign console wherein we can drag and drop the signature tag. So that is that's a good feature into the DocuSign, wherein even if it's a third party template, we can still have the signature tag, and we can still send the third party template for electronically to get signed. Okay, so if you can see here, I'll just quickly show you this one too. So there are quite a few actions which can be taken from the Salesforce itself. You need not to go into the DocuSign for that. So for example, if I want to delete this particular contract, I can delete it directly from here. It's possible to copy it if you notify, or if you want to check in, check out, download, upload. So all those actions which are available into the DocuSign, they are available here as well into the not all, but most of them are available, or frequently used actions are available into the Salesforce. So that's the beauty of this integration, and our user need not to leave the Salesforce page. They can undertake all the actions from here itself. Okay. Now, as this contract has been created, so if I go to the DocuSign now, I'll refresh this one. Yeah. So if you can see here, the third party agreement template that got created here, and it is pending for sales representatives manager. So why is that so? It's because we have a different workflow for this particular scenario. So this is my workflow which is executing. The earlier one is completed now. Yeah. So the workflow is taking this particular route. So in this case also, it updates the Salesforce stage. Yeah. So this is the route here, and now this is pending with the Salesforce. Sorry, the sales representative manager, which is based on the department. So I'll just go to this particular contract because I'm going to play the role of Salesforce sales representative manager too. And being the manager here, I have two actions, whether either reject or approve. So I'm rejecting this for just to showcase the uh, the exception scenario. So as soon as I reject and say complete, yeah. If I go back to the folder, so it should go out. This particular contract should go out of the folder. See now. So this has been moved from the Dickinson folder and it has been added into the rejected contract folders, which is again inside the Salesforce folder. So the rejected contract has got two folders, one for Dickinson and the other one is for Express. So if I go to Dickinson here, I'll find my rejected contract. So that's the exception scenario. And there are many exceptions which are there into this workflow. I'm just explaining only the one which is the quickest one. And from here onwards, so let's say if had sales representatives manager approved the contract, it would have gone to the legal again, because if you let me just zoom in, yeah, it have gone to the approval for the legal, and then legal could have then send it, either edit or send it for the next step, which is send it for signature, send it for review, internal review or external review. So the remaining process remains the same. So this is the only difference between the own paper and the third party paper. And so there is one attribute which is not visible on the screen. That's a scripted attribute, and that attribute is actually used for writing this particular rule, with to identify it is the own paper or the third party paper. Okay. So that covers the exception scenario and the agreement creation process and end-to-end agreement creation process with third party and own paper. Let me just go back to the presentation to check if I have covered everything here. Yeah. So the creation and use of the document generation form. Yes, I just showed that, but I'll show the document generation form once again. Then the populate values for template merge tags. Yes, that's I just showed that one too. Capture the metadata to store along with the document using attributes. Yes, the data which was entered during the agreement creation that was applied to the contract. Exception handling scenario, I just demonstrated that. Demonstrate the integration with the DocuSign and e-signature, that has been covered. Demonstrate integration with the Salesforce for data sync. Yes, that has been covered too. So I just showed how the effective date, then signature date, and the sign date, and the stages were updated uh, as and when it was there into the as and when they were required. Completion of the signed document must trigger an action. So that's the action which was triggered on signed document. When this contract got signed, it changed the stage, effective date, and the sign date. Demonstrate and understand the workflow and the document management best practices. Okay, so this I'll just show you the workflow and the document management best practices, and I'll also show you the document generation form and the configuration. And I'll come back to this one again. Because reports, yes, reports I have completed. Demonstrate user management, that I have covered. Demonstrate how the customer administration can update the solution post go live. Yes, that's pending. I'll cover that too. And the successfully demonstrate the steps to promote. Yeah, so the deployment, that is also pending. I'll cover that too. Okay. So for that, I'll have to go to the admin. So in admin, there are numerous things which we can do, but for this particular presentation and for this project, caption project, I'll only concentrate on the document generation. attribute groups, and then the workflows. So as I was mentioning, so there are two forms which I have created. One is for the sales agreement, that's for the Salesforce, and the third party sales agreement, that's again for the Salesforce. So if you can see here, there is one attribute, standard template. So standard template is ticked here inside the sales agreement, and in case of third party, it is not ticked. So that's false, and this is the attribute which I'm using to drive the condition for routing the contracts in the workflow. Then these are the merge tags which are tagged into the template. So we can whenever we add any attribute into the form, document generation form, it automatically generates the merge tag, and we can copy that merge tag and paste it into the template. So that's how we create the template using the merge tags. So these are the two forms, and these two forms have been added into the Salesforce contract. So that's the configuration. So this is the place where we add the workflow and the forms and the templates. So in case of third party template, if you can see here, the form which I'm using for the third party template is the third party sales agreement form, whereas for the own paper, it's a corporate template. I'm selecting the template which is available into the system, and which I'll show it to you in a bit. And then this is the form, docgen form. So this configuration is actually routing the user to the right form and to the right attribute. So if there is a template and which requires a different set of attributes altogether, we'll have to just define a form and assign that form to the template, and that's how the template dependent attribute will get displayed, or I would say the template variables would be displayed to the user. This is a workflow which is the common workflow among both the forms, and then this has been assigned, or this has been assigned to the appointed T object into the Salesforce. So it is only one object can be assigned to one configuration at any given point of time. So that's how the product has been designed. Then I have also configured the eForm that I have used for sending while sending the contracts for external review workflow. Yes, so these are the activities which I walk you through as I was working on the agreement, the configuration. So as far as the workflow best practices are concerned, it is always recommended to have this swim lane for each and every action here. So the workflow what I configured, or what I designed, it splits into 4 different swim lanes. And if you can see here, each swim lane has got different color and a different name and a different meaning too. So all the steps belonging to initialization of the attributes, those are added over here. And then for the sales rep manager to approve, or legal to approve or reject, that those all steps have been added over here. So next step is to sending it for external or internal review, sending for signature, and the remaining part, which is the actual signature process, that has been covered over here. So as a best practice, the it should be simple. All these steps should be connected, and there should not be any overlap. So if you can see here, there is no overlap between any arrow which is getting connected with this step. So it's basically neat and clean, and anyone who has a little bit of knowledge can just read through this particular workflow and the logic. And as I also explained that it is imperative to have a stage name. uh, so if you see the stage name here, sent for internal review, so this is really important. Even though it is non-mandatory, but highly recommend to enter stage name and a display name, because if we don't do that, it will create a problem in the task, in the in the report. So highly recommend to use the stage name and the display name. If you see the description is something which we can enter anything here just to make sure what the use of this particular step, and this step name, it is not recommend to change the stage the step name. So that's the reason I have not changed the step name anywhere in the workflow. So those are the some of the best practices for the workflow. And uh, one more thing here to mention is the entire workflow should be available into the canvas. It should not be like I'm dragging towards left or right for to see the workflow. So if you see here, the entire workflow is within the within my screen. I need not to drag towards left or right. I'll have to just scroll down because that's how the steps are connected. Just close this one. Attribute groups, I have created 4 attribute groups, and these attribute groups are nothing but I'm using these attribute groups for the reporting purpose. I'm using this for the in the workflow to map the data which is coming into the variables, and I'm mapping that data and putting it into the these attributes so that to get the the data get should apply to the contracts. User group, yeah, task group, as I mentioned, it is possible to create a task group, and then we can use this task group into the workflow. Okay, I will directly go on to the sorry, deployment. Yeah, so deployment is a tool wherein it is possible to move data, the configuration data, from one instance to another instance. So I have worked on multiple CLM products, and this is one of the feature which I love most about DocuSign, because unlike other products, it's not that complicated. It's really very easy, and it just uh, you just have to go ahead and check the data which you want to move from one instance to another instance, because that's the typical process we do during the cutover of the project. So we develop the entire solution. We show it to customer, we demonstrate it to customer, we take their buy-in, and then we move this data to the higher boxes, which is production or maybe the UAT. And this is the place where we can use to create a package and then move it to the higher boxes. So that is called as deployment here. So I'll say Capstone. That's the name of my deployment. Capstone. Okay, I can add a description here, and then there are certain options which are available over here. One is the auto install the package. So it is possible to so once this package is created and downloaded, so we can go and upload it back into the new instance. So when we do that, system, if I mark it as auto install, as soon as I upload, it will start installing. So but I don't want to I don't want package to work like that way. I want to be in a control, so I'll keep it as unchecked. Overwrite existing object when installing the package, so I'll keep that unchecked as well, because I don't want the any existing data to get overwritten. Include account settings, so even that is, we can also do the account settings. We can move the account settings. Include account branding and preferences, so that is again something which is not recommended in most of the cases. Otherwise it will change the entire look and feel of the instance. But if it's a new instance, altogether a clean slate instance, it's possible. I mean, we can go ahead with the branding too. Include the account level customization of navigation tabs, menus, and toolbars. So yes, again, as I said, if it's a clean slate, we can go ahead with that. Yeah. So at the bottom here, there are different tabs. So let's say folder. I can select the folders which I want to move into the upper boxes. So let's say if I say Salesforce. That's a folder I want to move from from this particular instance to the new instance. And then there are tick boxes, include the documents. If I want to include the document, I like to just click on yes. So it's just not the folder, but the folders along with the documents will also move to the higher boxes. I don't see a use case for this. Maybe if you want to reuse some documents, so can be. But in case of real-time scenario, we would be moving only documents and not the folders. Sorry, the other way around, folders but not the documents. Attribute groups. So these are the four attribute groups which I have created. I can mark it as yes. I want to move all these attribute groups, and then the groups, if any, all the user groups, forms. So this task assignment form, I want to move any rule, reports. So there are 3 reports. I would like to have those 3 reports into the higher box. Then this is the only workflow. Then the task groups, the reminder templates, if any reminder template is there. Document generation form, yes, absolutely important. Document generation configuration, sorry, and the delegated permission, if any. So that's how we, so once we select all this data, we'll have to click on save, and then this will create a, okay, I did not, okay. So I did not choose the storage location. So if I choose a storage location, it will go to the package will get added into the chosen folder. Otherwise, it will directly go into the users and then the all access folder. Nevertheless, system will take care of it. Okay. So once this folder is saved, I'll also get an email informing me that the uh, the package is ready. Okay, let me just try again. Okay, so I just selected that one, and I'll say package as is. I'll keep it as is, and I'll just click on save. Uh, Seems some problem in my internet. Revised, and say all access. Say attribute group, and I'll just click on save. Yeah. So now I should get an email for successful creation of the document package. So not document package, or configuration package. Yeah. So this is how we create the the deployment package, and that gets added into the all folders. So yeah, this is the one. So this is now available here. So what I can do is I can download it from here, and I can upload it back into the new system, and then I say install. So there is a button called install. Yeah, save and install. So I'll not do that because I do not have any other instance with me. Yeah, but this is the way it gets created. Configuration package is ready. And then I can view the package and I can also deploy it into download and deploy it back into the instance, the new instance. So that the point number 13 I have covered, demonstrate how the customer administration. Yeah. So this is the only point which is pending now. So I'll quickly show you how administrator can make changes into the existing system or after going live, because it happens that uh, the approvers or some data changes, some drop-down value changes, or some additional tags are required into the template, or some additional clauses are required into the template. And for so this is kind of a recurring maintenance, and this is required in almost all the projects. So for that, we have to give the access to the admin, the customer admin, or even a DocuSign admin, or the team which is who is supporting the contract, can also do this work. So typically, what we do is, let's say, merge template. So merge template is nothing but the contract template, which is which I want to change it, or I want to add something into the this template. So what I can do is I can check this out. So I can check out and then download, or I can directly download it from the system. So if I don't want anyone else to make changes into the contract, into this particular document, while I'm working on it, so I'll have to check in first. As no one is working on this particular instance, so I'll say download, then make changes into this particular template. Maybe some additional tags are required, or something else is required here, or some formatting needs to be changed. So let's say I'll just change the font here to 36, and from 8 to 36. And upload it back into the system. So this is how we can do the maintenance. Check-in is the process. Choose the file. I can drag and drop to contract file and then save. So from here onward, whenever I'll create a new contract using this particular template, those changes will get affected, or those changes will get start highlighting into the new contracts. In addition to that, let's say if I have the metrics for the approval metrics, that can also be changed from here. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to download the CSV file, and if I want to change certain approvers, so I can do that from here. So let's say I'll say I want the compliance officer, or I want to change the approval for the compliance, and the new compliance manager is, let's say, XYZ at Deloitte.com. Save this change. So for demo purpose, I had kept myself as the approver for approver, legal approver, and other approvers together. Just give me a moment. And the laptop battery was running down pretty fast than expected. Yes. So once it is saved, I can go back and I can upload it back into the system. And then the workflow from here onward will pick up the new values from this particular Excel, because this has been embedded into the workflow step. So this is how we can do the maintenance of the data which is there into the system. So as far as there is one more point from the document structure or the folder structure perspective. So it is always recommend to have the folder structure as simple as possible and as scalable as possible. So we need to first discuss with customers, and there a lot of discussions are required to understand how they want to structure their documents, because this is something which we cannot change frequently. So it's always nice to have the simple structure, scalable structure, and should not have more than 5 subfolders hierarchy into the document. So that's some of the points which we need to consider while designing a solution for the customer. So yeah, so with that, I have covered all the points which are required to be demonstrated as a part of this project. Please let me know if you have any questions, and if you need additional information on any of the point, I'll be more than happy to provide the inputs on those points. So thank you for listening me. Thank you for being patient, and talk to you soon. Thank you.